New Orleans, Louisiana, a city of jazz, jambalaya, and the dead who simply refuse to leave. Nowhere else in America does the line between the living and the spirit world feel this thin. You can feel it the moment you arrive. Something in the air, something watching. Today, we are stepping inside the three most terrifying haunted places in New Orleans. Places where history soaked into the walls and something soaked back out. If you are watching this alone right now, you may want to turn a light on. Let's go. First up, 114-0 Royal Street, the French Quarter, the LaLaurie Mansion. From the outside, it is stunning. A grand 19th century estate with elegant balconies and tall iron windows. The kind of building you would stop and admire. The kind of building you would want to photograph. But what happened behind those walls is the stuff of true nightmares. In the 1830s, a woman named Madame Delphine LaLaurie lived here with her husband. She was charming, elegant, the talk of New Orleans society. She threw the finest parties in the French Quarter. Nobody knew what was happening upstairs. In 1834, a fire broke out in the kitchen. Firefighters rushed in to help, and when they reached a locked attic room at the top of the house, they stopped. They stood there in silence, because what they found inside that room was beyond anything they had ever seen. Enslaved people, chained to the walls, mutilated, kept in conditions too cruel, too horrific to fully describe. The city erupted in rage. The LaLauries fled New Orleans that very night and never came back. But the people who suffered in that attic, they never left either. To this day, people walking past on Royal Street stop without knowing why. They hear moaning coming from inside the building. They see shadowy figures standing in the upper windows, staring down at the street below. And on the hottest nights of the Louisiana summer, when the air is thick and heavy and warm, people standing in front of this building feel a cold so sudden, so deep, it goes straight into their bones. That is not the weather. That is something that was done in this place that can never be undone. The spirits here do not rest, because in life, they were never allowed to rest. This is not just the most haunted place in New Orleans. This may be the most genuinely evil location in all of America. Number 2, Basin Street, the Treme neighborhood, St. Louis Cemetery. Number 1, established in 1789. Let that sink in for a moment. This cemetery has been holding the dead of New Orleans for over 200 years. Yellow fever victims buried during outbreaks that wiped out entire neighborhoods overnight. Civil War soldiers who marched away from home and never made it back. Families, children, entire generations, all here, all still here. But the most powerful soul in this cemetery is not resting quietly. She never rested a day in her life. Marie Laveau, the voodoo queen of New Orleans. She died in 1881, and yet thousands of people still come to her tomb every single year. They bring flowers, rum, candles, offerings. They draw X marks on her grave with their fingers and whisper their deepest wishes into the stone. Many of them say their wishes come true. Think about that. A woman dead for over 140 years, still answering prayers. But Marie is not the only presence people have encountered here. A woman in a white dress has been seen drifting silently between the above-ground tombs at midnight. New Orleans buries its dead above ground because the city sits below sea level. The tombs rise up around you like a small city of the dead. And somewhere between those tombs, she walks. No face, no sound, just movement. A man in a tall black hat has been seen standing perfectly still between the graves. People approach him, and he simply is not there anymore. The city of New Orleans actually requires every visitor to have a guide before entering this cemetery. They say it is for safety, but those who have spoken to the guides late at night say the real reason is something else. People who wander in here alone wander out different. Something follows them, something changes inside them, and it does not always go away. And finally, 717 Ilarion Street, the French Quarter, the Bourbon Orleans Hotel. Do not let the name fool you. This is not your average haunted hotel with a few cold spots and a flickering light. This building has lived more lives than most cities. In the 1800s, this was a grand ballroom where the famous quadroon balls were held. Nights of music and candlelight and beautiful dresses. But underneath the beauty were arrangements between free women of color and wealthy white men that were, in every meaningful sense, transactions. Lives traded, families broken, dreams that never got to be dreams. Before the ballroom, it was a convent. Before the convent, it was a theater. Every single person who passed through this building left something of themselves behind, and those somethings are still here. Guests wake up at 3 in the morning to find a Confederate soldier standing at the foot of their bed, not moving, not speaking, just standing there, watching, and then gone. Children's laughter drifts through the hallways in the middle of the night, high and sweet and completely out of place. There are no children staying at the hotel. There are no children on the floor. The laughter is believed to belong to the orphans who once lived in this building when it served as an orphanage. Children who grew up within these walls. Children who never truly left. And the ballroom. Staff members will not go into the ballroom alone after dark. Mirrors fog up from the inside with no steam, no heat, no explanation. Music plays faintly from somewhere with no speaker, no instrument, no source. The hotel offers ghost tours every night. Guests line up. Guides lead them through. Stories are told. Photographs are taken. But the guests who have truly experienced this place all say the same thing. The real haunting does not begin during the tour. It begins after. After the guide leaves. After the group disperses. After you close the door to your room. After the lights go out and the mirror starts to fog. 3 places. The Lalaurie Mansion, where cruelty carved itself so deep into the walls, it became part of the building itself. St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, where the most powerful woman in New Orleans history still has not finished her work. The Bourbon Orleans Hotel, where every soul that ever passed through decided, this is where I stay. New Orleans does not hide its ghosts. It does not tear down the buildings where terrible things happened. It does not pretend the past did not occur. It lives with it. It dances with it. It pours a glass of bourbon and sits down next to it. Because in New Orleans, the dead are not gone. They are just in the next room. If you made it to the end of this video, you are braver than most people who clicked on it. Drop a comment below. Which one of these 3 places would you actually walk into? Alone, at midnight, with no guide and no way to call for help. And if you are brave enough to find out what comes next, subscribe. We are just getting started.